Hi guys, it's Alice. For people who don't know me, I'm a physical therapist working in the United States, and I just graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, Doctor of Physical Therapy last year. And this is my classmate.
Hey, I'm Sumedh. I'm a physical therapist too, currently in the outpatient setting.
Because you're kind of like the person who introduced functional patterns.
Oh
to
yeah,
me, actually, and we're gonna talk about, as physical therapists, what we think about functional patterns.
the only reason I heard about functional patterns was because of one of my best friends who's been practicing it for a few years now. He really had some really good results with it. I think he's fairly knowledgeable, so I just trusted him and gave it a try.
Yeah.
And got into it, and I mean, I think so far it's been a very insightful experience and kind of helpful too.
Right, definitely. I just want to say that there are so many different kinds of strengthening and conditioning programs out there, and after knowing functional patterns, it does change a little bit of how we think, even when we're practicing, when we see patients and how they move, and then what kind of exercise we're trying to prescribe to them. That is pretty beneficial to some of our patients for sure. So in order to kind of introduce it, we are going to watch their introduction videos on their official website, so that for people who have never heard of it can kind of have an insight of what it's doing or how their exercises look like. And then afterwards we'll talk about, as physical therapists, personally, how I think or you think about functional patterns and what benefits it has bring to us. Let's watch! So we're gonna watch this 5-minute functional patterns, functional training evolve video from their official website.
That looks fun, that med ball exercise.
Yeah, it's kind of like shot put.
I wish I had a place to slam a ball against the wall. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try that with the bar, since now I have access to one.
I feel like that one is not just like functional patterns. That's definitely something that when you're working out, it's definitely something that you have seen.
Really?
Yeah, like when I was working at Rooney Sports Complex.
That's good.
Yeah, this is the one that you wanted to get.
Yeah, that looks like an old version of their paraball. That bar is really interesting. I finally got to try to use one of those yesterday during my workout, actually. Yeah.
They have that?
Yeah, they have a bar that hooks
Really?
on just one end. Yeah.
That's nice. Was it good? Is it hard?
It's interesting. It definitely has like the momentum and like the force is different to other attachments.
Yeah. Functional.
Yeah.
Like for people, like when I was working for work hardening patients,
Yeah.
I had them do that too.
Oh my god.
So some of these exercises kind of like the more advanced version of what we are doing in the
Yeah,
at
these
least
are
for,
like
like,
way
sports.
more advanced.
but like for sports though,
Oh yeah.
it's more like stepping across the ball and stuff. Those are something that we've been doing
True.
with our sports patients.
Yeah. Like in particular doing like that med ball slam while on a physio ball, that's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, that one is definitely really hard. Ooh. So that's about it. Both of us have been through their 10-week courses. Before we met functional patterns, what we were doing.
For the past few years leading up to this, pretty much most of undergrad and grad school, I would do workouts in the gym. I would use lots of free weights, cable column, bars, and do a lot of like pull-ups.
Right.
So just, you know, that type of stuff, and then I would try to work in a little bit of cardio here and there. I mostly like to do high intensity interval training or sprints. But mainly my desire has always been to play more sports whenever I can. So I'll play a lot of soccer, and then before that, you know, when I was in high school, I played a ton of different sports.
So let's talk more in depth of like what you're doing at the gym. I think it's probably pretty similar to mine, but you talk about like you do free weights, barbell plates, but I think a lot of times we're like focusing on back squats. Did you do deadlifts?
Actually, deadlifts was one of the few exercises I did very infrequently. Never really used to do those barbell deadlifts. I've probably done them 4 or 5 times in the first few years that I worked out. One of the programs that I started following actually recommended doing deadlifts.
Okay.
So that's when I actually started doing them, but even then I still rarely ever use the regular barbell. I always use the hex bar.
Right.
Yeah. And then when I got into grad school, I actually started following a different workout routine. Maybe I'll make a different video about this, but it was with a different online brand, and they have their own workout programs that include like nutrition information, actual workout programming. There were 3 different workouts, and there was nutrition guide and everything, and the workouts basically stayed the same for 4 to 6 weeks, and then a second phase would start, and the workouts would vary slightly. So yeah, split squat, goblet squats, I would do deadlifts with the hex bar sometimes, and then there would be things like shoulder press, stuff for arms like biceps, and then triceps push down, bench press. The incline press was like one of the big exercises, because basically the idea of this workout program was to get like a Hollywood type physique, you know, like where the muscle proportions are like high on your like pecs and delts and your quads and glutes, you know, just your beach muscles basically, and the abs too.
More for like physical appearance.
Yeah, just for aesthetics. I mean, for a while it felt fine. After doing this for a year and a half hardcore, I did see like I had gained about 20 pounds of just like muscle. But functionally, I feel like I was declining a little bit. I kind of developed a little bit of back pain at one point. And then after that, I slowly like kind of connected the dots almost, and saw that maybe consuming extra calories and gaining muscle weight, but working out like only certain muscle groups like had led to imbalances in my body. I had areas of weakness, and my back hurt sometimes, and I had this weird numbness in my foot that didn't seem to go away.
I remember you like came to me when we were still at school and be like, what's going on with me? I think I remember you had a lot of stiffness in your back for sure.
I've always, I've had stiffness and muscle tightness for a while from all the workouts, like, and then the combination of just sitting in classes.
I was trying to say that when you were playing soccer, like religiously, before you came over, do you feel the same, or it kind of feels it's different? Like the
so when I was a teenager and playing a lot of sports, I felt more nimble. My spine moved well. My hips moved pretty good. And it's like even if you get injured, you're able to get back to where you were instead of having that lingering symptoms and stuff. So I did quite a bit of different kinds of sports when I was little as well. I did a little bit of track and field, a little bit of swimming. When I was in high school, I played like badminton. After I came to the States, I was able to be introduced to weightlifting a little bit, not like hardcore, but I started to do a lot of stuff like back squats, lunges, deadlift. And so why did you get into those things?
The reason why I got into those strengthening programs is because there's one year that I went back home and I got a physical. After the physical, the doctor told me that I need to gain at least 6 kilograms of muscle mass just in my legs. So I talked to Tolman about it, and then he taught me how to do those lifting kind of exercises. So I think for the first 6 months, I was able to gain 6 pounds. I was still doing cardio at the time. I really like to run. So I was doing my regular running 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And I increased it to like 3 to 4 times a week of strengthening program and basically doing those exercises that we mentioned before. I was feeling pretty good at the beginning. It's not like there's nothing good to my body, because when I was doing deadlifts that is a little bit below my body weight, it did give me strengthening even for my upper back. I was having a lot of issue with my upper back. I had weakness of my parascapular muscles, and when I was running, probably 10 or 30 minutes, I will have some mid-back pain because my muscles are so weak. But after I started to like do those deadlifts, which you have to have the endurance to stabilize your shoulder blades in that position and at the same time function. So I think it does help me with some of my upper back issues.
What you're trying to get at is there's good aspects and there's uses to your traditional strengthening, but we have to be very clear on what our purpose is with a particular exercise.
A year or a year and a half, I was trying to achieve a 2 times body weight deadlifts. And I started to feel like my back feels really weak.
Yeah.
And
but why were you trying to do 2 times body weight deadlifts?
I guess it's probably kind of like why you're pursuing a Hollywood type of body.
Yeah. So basically,
like for appearance wise, or because everyone's doing it.
There's always someone on social media that's, you know, like looks a certain way or is telling you that you should try to do more.
The more you can do, the longer time you're spending inside the gym is the better. Kind of like gave us these information.
And initially we both got into working out because of the health reasons, but then it's pretty easy to get sidetracked and focus on other things like the aesthetic value, looking attractive, and you know, oftentimes it's that mold of if you look muscular or if you look, you know, like you have a small waist and a big butt, and you know, that's attractive and stuff. I think it's just very important to define what the purpose of your exercise is, to try to improve certain function rather than try to improve the way we look. Because if you improve your function, the aesthetic will come, you know. It's like a byproduct. From focusing more on superficial things, functional patterns really helped me just realize, you know, the importance of defining the functions, training in a way that gets your body moving the way it's evolved to move. You had to run, you had to walk, and you had to be able to throw to some extent. If you were gonna survive.
So to our understanding, functional patterns think of human bodies as a tool of us to like interact with the environment, which means that for humans we migrate, right? So we walk a lot, we run a lot. If we have to gather stuff, we even have to like climb.
We have to, the running comes into escaping from predators or
hunting,
having to hunt back in the...
you have to throw. So I think those are the functional activities that they really emphasize in their exercises.
And the thing is, you end up using your body in a more holistic manner and loading tissues and joints in a way that you're not just isolating one part, which can lead to imbalances, you know?
Like you're not just doing leg press or knee extension machines to strengthen your quads.
If you train knee extension on a knee extension machine, your strength increases, but only in the context of a knee extension machine. There's not 100% carryover into your daily function of like walking or walking down the stairs or up the stairs or anything like that. Why were they injured in the first place, or why were they having certain pain in the first place? If you don't address the cause of those things, then there's a higher likelihood that once you use, you know, traditional methods and get them to a level where their symptoms are a lot better and they may feel tempted to stop therapy, but you haven't really treated the underlying cause or their movement patterns that maybe predispose them to having the injury. So that's where like looking at movement and trying to improve the movement to reduce the risk of injury, you know, that is the ultimate. Like, if you clean up a movement, your function's better and you're less likely to injure yourself. Fundamentally, if we try to shift our focus, and also if we were given the opportunity to be able to convince patients to be seen for longer periods of time, and also if insurance allowed us to do that,
Right.
I think our ultimate goal should be to try to get people to move better so that we don't see them in here again and again and again and again.
This just comes through my mind that maybe the functional pattern people will be like, okay, you can just refer them back to us, so you can like treat the early stages and we can take care of the rest. I just want to say that not every patients are very into working out. So
some people, as soon as they're out of pain, they're done. Like, they want to just get back to doing what they want to be doing.
Yeah. So they're just different populations with different thoughts. A lot of times, even though we see there's something that we can go in and try to address, but they probably don't want to put in their own like commitment to also help you or take your guide to change how they move, because that's not their focus at this point. So so that is also something that is harder for therapists to like implement functional patterns, because we do see a lot of benefits, even just to ourselves, but a lot of the times we cannot do that clinically.
Yeah, I think that's like the issue that we have with our field in general. Like, we can't just hand out pills or like do a certain manual technique and fix someone. It would be too easy if that were the case. But you know, our field is all about trying to get people to buy in, trying to help them, you know, provide education, provide support, so that they can take charge and be more responsible and accountable for their own well-being. The level of effort that each person puts in is just going to be very variable.
Right.
And some people will not want to change their whole lifestyle. Or they cannot, you know. It's just that their circumstances are such that they have to do certain things. And
I guess that's what we have to share today for this video. We might open up a clubhouse, like a discussion with his friend that he just mentioned, that who was more involved or more engaged in functional pattern. We can try that depending on how our audience think about this video, and we might, if we have that opportunity, we'll definitely share that on AliceThePT's Instagram and Facebook page. So that's about it, and thank you very much for sharing your experience.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It was an interesting discussion.
Right. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to AliceThePT YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook page, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.